Hello, everyone. I'm Dave Bondy with the Mackinac Center for Public Policy. Joining me right now, Lindsay Killen, the Senior National Advisor for Workers for Opportunity and Vice President of National Strategy for the James Madison Institute. Glad to have you. You have had a very busy week, I understand.
It's been a very busy week, exhausting, good, but yes, I'm ready for the weekend.
So tell us about the victory. Tell us about what happened in the last few days. This is big news.
It is big news. It's been 4 years in the making. So, the Mackinac Center has a multi state labor project called Workers for Opportunity that I have been shepherding for since its inception in 2019. And what we do is go around the states and recommend good labor policies that expand worker freedom, protect workers' rights. And we've been primarily taking those reforms to red states where governors, administrations, lawmakers may not necessarily realize that they have a union problem. And we can help shed light on that, what those problems are, what their powers are to do something about that. And so it's been very rewarding because, of course, we know what the labor issues tend to be in these big blue states because they tend to get all the attention. The media talks about labor issues as though they only really exist or are things that we should be paying attention to if they're happening in California or New York. And so what we've done is say, no, labor unions are present in every state. And in red states, they can often be more of a problem because they operate with less visibility, and but yet they tend to exert just as much power. So that's so our work has been to take that message and make sure that lawmakers know what they can do about it. And so we have been doing that in about 4 to 6 states every year since 2019. And most recently, we've been working in Florida, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Kentucky, Arkansas, and we've had a really fabulous spring with lots of success.
So, Governor DeSantis, he is about to sign this. We don't know the exact date, but he's going to sign this pretty soon, I'm assuming. What does this mean for the average person in Florida, but also Michigan? How does it impact nationwide? What's happening or what's going to be signed on by DeSantis in Florida?
So Governor DeSantis is signing the Teacher Bill of Rights or paycheck protection. Both have been terminologies he's used to talk about the bill. And that bill has been the sort of the collaborated effort among the Workers for Opportunity Initiative, his administration, and lawmakers for several years. And what it does are essentially three main things. It makes sure that teachers are informed of their rights to withhold or withdraw union membership, and that those rights won't be impacted as a result of their decision, that their benefits won't be compromised, that their professional trajectories won't be compromised, and they get that information or that reminder every year. In addition to that, the state says we're done being the bill collector for the teachers union. Right now, Florida, or to date, Florida has collected the dues automatically out of teachers' paychecks. So when teachers do get paid, they aren't often even aware of how much dues are going to the union. It's a line item in their pay stub that a lot of us don't even read or pay attention to. So they're going to get that information as well. This is how much the union is costing you every year. That's going to be more transparent. And then the teachers, in addition to other public employees, will also have opportunities to vote on their union if the union fails to gain at least 60% support from the body that they represent. So, to date, the unions in Florida have had to prove that they have 50% plus one support of their representative body, and then they're recognized to represent those employees' interests. Now what the state is going to do is say, no, 50% plus one is not enough. First of all, we don't have enough proof that you actually have that support. And secondly, you exert so much power over the workplace that we want to see that there's an overwhelming majority of support for you to exist and represent employees. So those are the three main things. Other states are doing this. Other states are taking on paycheck protection, but in most cases, those efforts are limited to just removing the state's role in the dues collection process.
So we do obviously have a lot of people watching in Michigan right here. How does this win in Florida and other states impact people in Michigan? What are they going to see from this?
Well, we know that unions export money across the country. So they'll harvest money in one state and they export it to another state to move policies in that state that have no real impact or benefit to the people in the state where that money came from. We saw this happen in Colorado in 2009, where we had the Tennessee Education Association, the Florida Education Association, the Oklahoma Education Association, and others investing to fend off and defeat a right to work ballot initiative to put right to work into the state's constitution. They were successful. Colorado has not had another effort to put right to work protections in place since then. And Colorado also went from red to blue in that election cycle and has never gone back. In Michigan, where labor unions have been historically powerful, particularly public sector unions and the UAW, we see money moving into the state constantly during election cycles from other states. So labor issues aren't particular to any one state. You can't solve the labor problem by passing good policies in any one state, because they move money around to push their agendas, and they do so freely, and they use states in the process of doing that. That's why going into states like Florida, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Kentucky, Arkansas, all of these states that we've been active in is so important, so that we can at least tell the states, this is what the unions do. This is how they move their money. This is where it goes. How is this benefiting people in your state? And secondarily, why should the state have a role in that process?
And it sounds like definite accountability for the union workers, for all workers. It gives them to be able to hold the union accountable. That's it. That's what it comes off as, a big accountability issue.
It is. It's accountability to the workers themselves on a
Yes.
regular basis. So it's not just accountability one time forevermore, in
Yeah.
that you sign up for the union and then you're in until you start to, until you realize you don't want to be in anymore and you're stuck to, adherence to a contract that might extend, years into the future. Instead, the state is saying, no, teachers should and other public employees should always be able to make a different decision, and also know at every turn how much their investment costs them, and what they're getting for that investment as well.
Now, some folks may not be aware the Mackinac Center, as a state-funded policy organization in Michigan, has a national footprint as well. Can you talk about what that looks like and how you're working, we are working across the states and the federal level to influence policy and expand workers' rights everywhere?
So the Mackinac Center has, of course, been a leader on labor reform issues since its 35 plus year history. We've been leading on labor reforms both at the state level and at the federal level. And we launched Workers for Opportunity in 2019 because we saw that there was a lack of understanding and awareness among lawmakers in particular about what the Janus decision, the U.S. Supreme Court decision, Janus v. AFSCME, what that decision meant for them and how they should be implementing that decision in their own state laws. So we started going across the country, building awareness, educating lawmakers about that, also educating our allies in the states, other state think tanks and policy organizations, and again found increasingly that not only was there a lack of awareness about these issues generally, but there was a hunger for recommendations and reforms that state lawmakers could bring to the table. So we started supplying those in regular order. And so in its history, which has been short, we've been operating on this multi-state level for about 5 years now, but 4 years in actually bringing legislative reforms. And in that 4 year history, we had a governor in Alaska issue an administrative order clarifying that the Supreme Court's decision in Janus does mean that workers should have a fresh opportunity to assert that they do intend to join the union and that they understand that they have the First Amendment right not to do so. That administrative order came down in Alaska. It was the first of its kind, something that we helped the governor issue. We also got an attorney's general opinion from the state of Alaska to coincide with that administrative order, saying that yes, that is the legal understanding of the Janus decision and what the state's responsibility is as a result. And then from there, we had an attorney general opinion in Texas and Indiana. We have had an executive order issued by the governor of Oklahoma, clarifying that this is the responsibility of the state and directing his Board of Education to implement that in a rulemaking process. And then we've had success at the legislative level. We've had a bill passed, as we just discussed, in Florida, a really sweeping overhaul of how the state addresses worker freedom. We had Tennessee, just before Florida's actions, pass paycheck protection to withdraw the state from the dues collection process. We also had an interesting bill in Tennessee passed on the private sector side that said if the state's going to give out state incentives, so taxpayer money to corporations, those corporations have to respect workers' right to a secret ballot election process for union representation. That unions can't come in and unionize carte blanche or claim that they have the support of their employees without proof of that and without the employees getting to actually vote on the union in a private way without being coerced or exposed to intimidation. So that's been an exciting reform that's also first of its kind in the country that everyone should expect to see be exported to other states in the coming years as well.
And that's the question. This has been blockbuster legislation. What are we going to see from here? You've talked about some of this right here, but it's very exciting because we're going to be seeing this now moving across the country. And the Mackinac Center is at the very front of all of this, it sounds like.
We are. We're definitely not going to rest on our laurels. It's been a great legislative session for us in passing bills in Tennessee, in Florida, in working with our allies to pass bills in Kentucky, Arkansas. We're still moving legislation in Oklahoma. And we're really looking forward to leveraging these successes and going to more states and showing them that, yes, this is not only good policy, but it's also politically popular. I mean, these issues poll really well, and they don't just poll well with Republicans or conservatives, they poll well with Democrats too. And so we're looking forward to having conversations with lawmakers, not just in red states, but red, purple, and blue states about why these reforms make sense for them and why they're just basic protections for employees who want to work, live, and thrive in those states.
Last question I have for you. How important it is, there's the Mackinac Center, James Madison Institute, so many organizations that were able to help get this done in Florida, but it really is a team effort. I know the Mackinac Center, big on this, but it really is a nationwide team effort, correct?
Oh, absolutely. We could not have had the success we've had in Florida without Workers for Opportunity coming alongside the James Madison Institute's in-state leadership in working with our allies on the ground. It just simply wouldn't have been possible. And that's true for all of the states that Workers for Opportunity has been active in. There's always an effort to work with in-state partners because those partners are going to have the most intimate knowledge and awareness of where the bodies are buried, what the struggles have been, what the real needs are, and how to customize language that actually reflects the needs of that state. It's tremendously effective to have those partnerships, and it's really necessary to make sure that that when when going into a state, you have that ability to get insight and collaboration from folks on the ground.
We've covered a lot. Anything I missed that we need to go over?
Well, I think if people are interested in learning more about what this work has looked like, they can go to workersforopportunity.org. They can follow us on Twitter, on Facebook, and they can go and drill down state by state if you want to learn more about some of the states we just mentioned, especially Florida and Tennessee, where we've had tremendous success this year. Then please go and read about how you can work with us and help support these efforts, especially as they come to your state maybe next year.
I will put a link for everyone in this video. All you have to do is look down below and you'll see a link that you just mentioned, so it'll be easy for everyone to do so. But Lindsay Killen, thank you for taking the time out of your day, and congratulations to everyone and for really the people. That's who this is all about.
Absolutely. And we are just really appreciative that there are groups like the Mackinac Center, like the James Madison Institute, efforts like Workers for Opportunity out there doing this work. It's truly meaningful and it does change lives.
Thank you for joining us.